welcome back. I'm Anna.
And I'm Lori. Today we're going to talk about tools to help you continue to grow. We have been talking in prior videos about self-awareness, and if you didn't check those out, we'd love for you to go check them out. But today's tool is going to be the Enneagram. So, have you ever wondered why you do what you do, but you can't pinpoint it, you don't understand, and you're like, why do I cry every time someone gives me feedback? And why doesn't my husband tell me his feelings? Why doesn't he share them? Am I the problem?
That's so real. Or even, I keep myself busy so that I don't have to feel my emotions. Why do I do that? Or, I always feel everyone's emotions around me, and it's so heavy, and I don't know how to put them down.
Yep.
Or even to the extent of people call me a jerk, but I don't know how else to communicate. I'm just assertive. That's just who I am.
Right.
The Enneagram can help solve a lot of these thoughts and feelings that you're likely thinking on a daily basis.
Yeah. Like for me, as an Enneagram 2, I realized learning the framework and everything is that my value is caring and loving people, helping people. That's a great thing if you do it in a healthy way. So learning about my personality gave me the strength to say I can lean into these gifts that I have. So the Enneagram, there's a couple ways to look at this. There's a diagram. So Ennea means 9, a gram means written or drawn. Greek roots behind that, and there's a diagram that shows the personality types and they're interconnected.
Yep.
There's also the Enneagram structure, which has multiple pillars that break down even more details of your personality and things to work on and to be aware of. And we're not going to go into all of that today. We'll just talk about the 9 types.
But let's dive right in. For type 1, that's going to be our perfectionist friend. They've always got everything put together, and they're very self-controlled. They have a very strong sense of what's right and wrong, and they follow that no matter what. They're very, very principled, almost a little too by the book sometimes, when rules maybe need to be broken. For type 2, that's Lori. They're very, very generous people. They're sometimes people-pleasing to an extent of unhealth.
Sure.
They desire just to be loved and to love deeply. They're probably some of the kindest, nicest, sweetest people in our lives. Type 3
Yes.
is me. I'm a 3.
Yay.
I'm very driven. 3s are very, very driven. We're very image conscious, so we want people to see the parts of us that we only want you to see. So we're very, very good at hiding some of the things that we maybe don't like about ourselves. One of our strong suits is being very adaptable. If things change or something comes up that we weren't expecting, we can pivot very quickly. So it constantly keeps things going, keeps things successful, and we're always reaching that next achievement. For type 4s, these are our very individual people. They're very, very creative. Sometimes they can be a little self-absorbed when they have the strong ability of sitting in their emotions. They tend to forget the world around them. They're very expressive. Sometimes they can be dramatic, but these are really, really great people. And if they can learn to leverage their emotions in a healthy way, they can be unstoppable.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So let me go to type 5. And these people are brilliant, so smart, perceptive, innovative in their minds, maybe a little bit secretive and isolated. They're not the one that you're going to see at the party whooping it up. They're wondering when they can go home because their energy is about to be tapped out. Yep. They are constantly looking for information to grow their knowledge, YouTube videos, books, constantly learning. So very in their minds, very brilliant. Type 6s, our friends are very engaging. They're kind people, focused, responsible, anxious, suspicious, potentially. They're one of the most loyal types of personalities or people that you're going to find. And they will tell you probably all the different ways of something could go wrong. So if you're planning a trip, or you need someone to help you in your business, they're the one that's going to come up with, hey, you need to be thinking about these 7 things because I think they could happen and you need to be ready.
Always the scenarios going behind the scenes. You may not see it, but they're constantly thinking of, oh, this could go wrong. This is how we plan. This could go wrong. This is how we plan.
Yeah. Yep. Type 7s are so fun. They're enthusiastic about life, spontaneous, versatile, positive outlook, always wanting the next fun thing. They are acquisitive and scattered potentially, and they do not like to sit in any pain. So unlike our friends the 4, these people usually will keep going forward so that they don't have to feel any kind of sadness or pain in their lives or any kind of hard emotions.
Yeah, they remind me of a friend that's like, oh, they're in Bermuda this week. Oh my gosh, they just bought a new condo. Oh, they have a kayak now. Like they're just constantly seeking that next adrenaline rush.
And then type 8. So I married type 8. I've talked about Tony in our blogs and things like that, that he is absolutely assertive, very confident. It's one of the things I fell in love with him about. Like he was so confident and yet had this loving heart. So very, very emotional and caring, but the outside is a rougher exterior, assertive, self-confident, confrontational, especially if something needs to be worked through. They are not afraid to confront what's happening and work through it, which I absolutely love also about him, because I was the one thing when we met that I wanted to run for the hills. I'm mad at you. We're not going to talk. I'm going to slam the door. And he's like, where are you? We need to have a conversation about what's going on now. And I'd never known anybody like that. And then our last but not least at all is type 9. And just so you know, these are in no order of better or not. They just are, and every personality type is great. So type 9s are receptive, reassuring, complacent, a bit resigned. They're going to be a little bit more passive. They're not your first person to make decisions. They might be scattered in the priorities of what they do. And they're amazing mediators. They can, if you have a conflict across groups or group, pull in a type 9 because they're going to help you understand both sides and help come to a decision collaboratively. So everybody only has one type, one you, infinite potential, no matter your type. A lot of times people say, well, the Enneagram puts me in a box. You already are in a box. And when you learn about your personality type, you can get out of the box and start to leverage some of the other personality types that are out there to navigate life.
So some people might think it's like Myers-Briggs. Is it?
No, focuses on motivation behind behavior versus only behavior. So what motivates you to think the way you do and then do what you do?
Yeah.
Different. It fluctuates between healthy, average, and unhealthy. And so your personality, we're never just static. Our personalities move around how we react to stress, for example. So in a day, something hard might happen, and your characteristics, how you show up, might really change.
So imagine navigating a maze in the dark, and you don't have a map, you don't have a flashlight, you're just kind of wandering.
Scary.
With no really hope in front of you, almost. You might eventually stumble on the exit, but you likely feel lost and frustrated and unsure most of the time where you are. Mm-hmm. So we like to think of the Enneagram as a flashlight and a map combined, and it illuminates the path ahead of you, helping you understand the twists and turns of your own personality. Without it, you may still keep moving forward and eventually get to that exit, but it's going to be a whole lot harder if you can't see where you're going, or even you just don't understand why you're doing the things that you're doing or making the choices that you are.
So pick up your flashlight and your map and start walking with clarity. The Enneagram helps you understand your true motivations, your desires, your fears, better yourself simply by knowing yourself. And the Enneagram will help you do that.
On the internet, you're going to find tons of different resources about the Enneagram. So many people have done research on it. It's been around since, I don't even know, the 16th century?
I don't know.
If you try and research it, you might find a whole lot of information, and it can be very overwhelming. So what we would recommend is that you try and identify your basic personality type. That's the first step. Don't take a test. Don't try to self-diagnose. Just read through each type and try to pick one. They say a lot of times by the time you're 4 or 5 years old, your basic type usually starts to emerge based on your environment or the temperament that the child shows. It can even be influenced by parenting styles. So through learning the Enneagram, me and my husband, we learned so much. It's so eye-opening when you start learning how you interact with other people. For an example, we moved from Phoenix, Arizona to Dothan, Alabama in March.
May.
It was March.
You moved May.
It was May.
Because I came down to see you. And
Pregnancy, Brian. Anyhow, so we moved from Phoenix, Arizona to Dothan, Alabama in May. And it was very interesting just observing that whole process. So me and the way I'm wired, I had everything that needed to be done in a list, like a physical list. And as I would do things, I would check it off and check it off and check it off. And each one was an accomplishment for me or an achievement. As a 3, I'm the achiever. And observing how my husband reacted to the same experience, he would sit on the couch.
What's his type?
No worry. He's a 5.
Okay.
So everything is incredibly internal. Everything's in his brain. He doesn't know how to get it out of his head sometimes. And watching him through the same process as I'm just going, doing, make sure that every box is packed a week before the truck even shows up. He's just sitting back. Everything's chill.
Thinking about the plan.
Brain, he's thinking about the plan. But he doesn't know how to communicate that. And so just being able to have grace for him. It may look like he's just doesn't care and I'm doing everything. But in reality, he totally cares. He's thinking about it. He's coming up with a plan too. He just, for 5s, they struggle to execute. They struggle to get out of their brain and take action. And being able to understand that about him has just created so much room for grace in our relationship. One thing we like to say is rediscover your love by first discovering yourself. We believe here that you can't really work on your relationships unless you understand yourself.
Quick question for you, Anna. How did you learning about Stan in that time cause you to shift how you were doing things? What change did you put into play?
Yeah.
What you know about him?
Yeah, a lot of times 3s can move really fast because we very clearly see the plan ahead of us. We are very quick. Yep. So that's what I was saying earlier about adaptability. If anything changes in our plan, we got the next plan. We're good to go. Nothing slows us down. And for 5s, they don't think fast. They don't do fast. They take everything in very meticulously, making sure that they've got all the accurate information. And so knowing that, I can slow down some to meet him where he needs me to be.
Snaps. I'm gonna snaps on that. Come on, raise him up. There we go.
It's allowed me to be like, okay, I don't need to go as fast. And for him to be able to help in the situation, whatever it may be, I can slow down and he can meet me and I can meet him. Right. And together we can walk at a good speed.
I love that so much. I love it for you being newly married, and I'm your mom. That your relationship will be a little bit easier. The love goes a little deeper. The grace extends way earlier than Dad and I had it. So I'm so grateful for that. For our friends that are watching, take the first step and download our typing guide. It's free. And just read about the 9 types and try to figure out what number you are. Don't take a test. There's so many tests, but the recommendation is just read and come up with your own opinion of what it might be before a test tells you what it thinks you are. So just educate yourself. And then in the comments, we'd love to know what type that you are.
One thing that was interesting too is I was learning my type is the first 3 tests that I took were wrong.
Because it showed you as a...
In 2016, it showed me as a 2. In 2020, it showed me as a 2 again.
Yeah,
in 2022, it showed me as an 8. And in 2024, it showed me again as an 8. But I'm actually a 3. The more that you learn about the Enneagram, some types will show up as other types, even if that's not really their core. So being able to read through each type before you take a test can actually probably make the biggest difference. Because for me, it wasn't accurate. I still haven't gotten an accurate test, but when I know why the 3s do what they do, or why the 8s do what they do, I'm like, okay, I'm not really afraid of X, Y, or Z, but I am afraid of this. That fits me.
The other thing that I learned too is the test is only as good as you are self-aware. So you're checking boxes that you think is you, but it may not really be you. And that's pretty deep. When I had heard that, that's why you might need to sit with it. You'll hear us talk about sitting with it for a little bit. Read the description, observe yourself, maybe journal again what you notice.
And when I tested as a 2 or an 8, I wasn't self-aware.
Right. I'm sorry. I know that. I'm like, no, you weren't.
Thanks, Mom.
But I knew. And you were also just a little bit younger. I think as you get a little older, you start.
Well, I was 16. I was dumb.
Well, I think I've been older than you could say dumb.
I was dumb.
So our friends, grab the typing guide, learn about yourself.
Let us know what you think you are.
We'd love to know.
We are so glad that you joined us today. We thank everybody who comes upon our channel. We thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video today, or if you snoop around on our channel and enjoy any of it, we encourage you to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell to get notifications from us. We'd love to share more content like this with you guys, and we love that you're here. And that's all we have for you guys.
Keep soaring, everybody. Bye.